You want to see my? You want to check under my nuts too?
No, not really.
Not
Go ahead.
really
I feel like you might be.
No,
I feel like you might be.
Where is that?
I don't know the way you searching.
Yeah, we gotta search everybody.
Nah, you can check under there. It's just a big dick and some big balls, bro. Yeah, receipts I paid for in the city.
In the dark of night near the streets of Orlando, Florida, our story takes a dramatic turn as Marcus Jordan, the 34-year-old son of basketball legend Michael Jordan, finds himself in a precarious situation.
I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son. Okay. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Police found 34-year-old Marcus Jordan and his blue Lamborghini stuck on railroad tracks near Orlando, Florida. According to the arrest report, officers learned the vehicle had just fled a traffic stop. They claim Jordan had slurred speech, bloodshot eyes, and smelled of alcohol.
Police officers discover his blue Lamborghini, a $300,000 symbol of wealth and status, inexplicably stranded on active railroad tracks. The scene is tense as officers approach the vehicle, immediately noting signs that something isn't quite right.
When it's coke involved, it was coke.
Okay. Wow.
Right. Whatever the coke, the root or whatever he was getting in.
Marcus's speech is slurred, his eyes bloodshot, and the unmistakable smell of alcohol permeates the air around him. The officers, trained to recognize these telltale signs of intoxication, find themselves facing not just any routine DUI stop, but one involving the son of basketball royalty. The situation becomes even more urgent as they learn the vehicle had just fled from another traffic stop, adding a layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. The body camera footage captures every moment, every interaction, as the officers attempt to manage a situation that's quickly spiraling into what would become one of Marcus Jordan's most public scandals. The body camera footage tells a story of defiance and denial. As officers approach Marcus's stranded vehicle, what begins as a safety concern quickly escalates into a tense confrontation. The discovery of a suspicious substance sends ripples through the already charged atmosphere. Marcus, perhaps feeling the weight of his family name, refuses to submit to a breathalyzer test, a decision that would only compound his legal troubles. The officers, maintaining their professionalism, methodically process the scene. Their search reveals a small baggie containing what they would later confirm to be cocaine, adding another serious charge to the growing list of offenses. The interaction is punctuated by Marcus's increasingly confrontational behavior, his words, slurred but defiant, as he alternates between invoking his status and challenging the officer's authority. The footage captures every moment of this encounter, from the initial discovery of the stranded vehicle to the final moments when Marcus is placed in the back of a police car, with a $4,000 bond hanging over his head, before the controversies. And the headlines, "There was promise." Marcus Jordan's college basketball career at the University of Central Florida began with the weight of expectation that comes with being Michael Jordan's son. The numbers tell a story of potential, a remarkable jump from 8 points per game in his freshman year to 15.2 in his sophomore season. The highlight reel showcases moments of brilliance, an 18-point performance in an upset victory against 16th-ranked Florida, followed by a 23-point showing against Miami. These weren't just games, they were statements, moments when Marcus seemed poised to create his own legacy in the sport his father had dominated. The footage shows a young man who could handle the pressure, who could step up in big moments, who could make the crucial plays when they mattered most. For a brief, shining moment, it seemed as though the Jordan basketball dynasty might continue through another generation, as Marcus demonstrated not just skill, but the killer instinct that had made his father legendary. The bright lights of Lassie Vegas tell a different story, one of excess and poor judgment. The cameras capture Marcus and his brother living large in Sin City, throwing around money like it was nothing in the neon-lit paradise of excess. The numbers are staggering, between $50,000 and $80,000 lost in a weekend of gambling and partying. The Hayes nightclub and Liquid Pool Lounge become the stages for this display of wealth and waste. The most damning detail? Marcus was only 19 at the time, well below the legal gambling age. The incident catches the attention of the Nevada Gaming Control Board, adding a legal dimension to what was already a PR nightmare. But perhaps the most telling aspect of this entire episode is that it came to light through Marcus's own social media posts, bragging about spending over $50,000 in a single day. The footage shows a young man seemingly more interested in living, up to his father's reputation for high-stakes gambling than his legacy of athletic excellence. The scene outside the Embassy Suites Hotel at 2:11 a.m. plays out like a textbook example of how quickly situations can escalate. The security cameras and police reports paint a vivid picture of Marcus Jordan, intoxicated and belligerent, engaged in a heated argument with two women in the hotel driveway. The situation deteriorates to the point where an off-duty officer has to call for backup, unable to handle the situation alone. The footage shows multiple officers struggling to subdue Marcus, whose resistance only serves to make the situation worse. The charges stack up: disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and obstructing a police officer. Though he would later accept a plea deal that dropped the obstruction charge, the incident serves as a stark warning sign of things to come. The security footage captures every moment of this public display of defiance and poor judgment, a scene that would prove to be just one chapter in a longer story of troubled behavior. The final chapter of Marcus Jordan's basketball career unfolds like a slow-motion tragedy. The statistics tell the story: 13.7 points per game, shooting a mere 37% from the field, numbers that would make any NBA scout close their notebook. The footage shows a player who seems to have lost his way, whose off-court distractions have begun to manifest in his on-court performance. The final blow comes when UCF is deemed ineligible for the NCAA tournament, but it's Marcus's response that truly signals the end. Rather than stay and fight through the adversity, he simply walks away, quitting the team and effectively ending his basketball career. The contrast between the promising sophomore who led his team to victory against ranked opponents and the player who simply gave up is stark. The cameras capture his last game, though no one knew it at the time, marking the end of not just a career, but perhaps the last chance for redemption through the sport that made his family name legendary. The tabloid cameras can't get enough of this story. Marcus Jordan, dating Larsa Pippen, the ex-wife of his father's former teammate and rival, Scottie Pippen. The age gap, 17 years, makes headlines, but it's the complex web of NBA relationships that truly captures public attention. The paparazzi footage shows the couple's on-again, off-again relationship playing out in public, culminating in Marcus's crude social media post about returning her to the streets. Larsa's calculated response in interviews adds another layer to the drama, as she explains how time apart gave her clarity about the relationship. But perhaps the most telling moment comes from a simple interaction caught on camera. Michael Jordan, approached by paparazzi in France, responding with a firm no when asked if he approved of the relationship. This single word captured on video speaks volumes about the growing rift between father and son. The warning signs appear in various pieces of footage throughout the years, like pieces of a puzzle slowly coming together. Paparazzi videos capture concerning moments: Marcus at various locations appearing to engage in substance use. Social media posts and public appearances show a pattern of behavior that suggests deeper issues. The cameras don't lie, and the progression is clear to see. Various eyewitnesses come forward with stories, each adding another piece to the growing picture of a man struggling with addiction. The footage shows a gradual decline, from the promising athlete to someone increasingly in the grip of substance abuse. The visual evidence mounts: changed appearance, erratic behavior, and increasingly public incidents that suggest a person losing control. The timeline of these events, when pieced together, creates a devastating portrait of a downward spiral that would ultimately lead to the railroad track incident. The police body camera footage from that night tells a story of stubbornness and entitlement. Marcus Jordan, standing beside his stranded Lamborghini on active railroad tracks, argues with officers about moving his $300,000 vehicle. The urgency in the officers' voices is clear as they try to convey the danger of the situation. Active. Trains use these tracks, and one could be coming at any moment. But Marcus remains defiant, his speech slurred, his behavior erratic. The footage captures every moment of the interaction: the failed sobriety test, the discovery of suspicious substances, and Marcus's increasingly confrontational attitude. He repeatedly drops his name, seemingly expecting special treatment, even as the officers maintain their professional demeanor. The entire scene plays out like a microcosm of Marcus's larger struggles: poor decision-making, resistance to authority, and an inability to recognize the severity of his situation until it's too late. The final act of this drama unfolds through various media reports and insider sources, painting a picture of a father who has finally reached his breaking point. The footage shows Michael Jordan, one of the most recognized athletes in history, maintaining his public silence even as reports circulate about his decision to cut ties with his troubled son. The contrast between father and son couldn't be more stark. Michael, known for his fierce competitiveness but also his discipline and control, watching as his son continues to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. The various clips and reports piece together a story of a father who has tried to help, but has finally decided that tough love is the only option left. Sources close to the family describe this latest incident as the final straw, the moment when Michael Jordan, who had built his legacy on excellence and determination, decided he could no longer watch his son destroy himself and tarnish the family name. The footage ends with questions about what comes next for Marcus Jordan, and whether this ultimate consequence from his father might finally be the wake-up call he needs.